Morning students, so continuing our series on literary movements, we have now reached on the chapter number 21 where we are going to discuss about another important literary movement, that is Irish dramatic movement. As a student of English literature, you must be able to understand that Irish writers have played a significant role in the history of British literature right from the beginning of Jonathan Swift, who was also an Irish writer. He has published the work Modest Proposal, which is sort of satire on government of Ireland. Then we have writers like G.B. Shaw, James Joyce, Oscar Wilde, Oliver Goldsmith, William Congreve, Richard Sheridan. All these writers were from Ireland, and then we have other group of writers who try to revive the culture, the tradition, the mythologies of Ireland. And today we know them as the dramatists of Irish dramatic movement. The founder of this movement was W.B. Yeats, and then we have other writers which are associated with this movement, that are Synge, James Synge, Edward Martyn, William Boyle, Lady Gregory, G.W. Russell, and Lionel Johnson. All these dramatists are the part of Irish dramatic movement, and in this video we are going to discuss all of them in detail, and we are also going to discuss the points that are important from UGC-NET perspective. But before beginning this video, if you are one of those students who are preparing for GATE examination or NET examination in English literature, then you can simply check out our study material from our official website limitlessliterature.com. Check the link in the description below to know more about it. Now, without any further delay, let's continue this discussion on Irish dramatic movement. So the idea of founding this movement came to W.B. Yeats when he saw the works of Henrik Ibsen, when he saw the plays of Henrik Ibsen. Henrik Ibsen was a writer from Norway, and whatever he used to write, he used to pick the heroes and legends of Norway. He too was trying to revive the Norwegian, you can say, legends, heroes and mythologies of Norway, and he is putting them in his own plays. One of the most important plays that has already been asked in UGC-NET is A Doll's House by Henrik Ibsen, so remember that also. So it was the plays of Henrik Ibsen that inspired W.B. Yeats to do some similar like that, the way Henrik Ibsen was doing. So W.B. Yeats decided to revive the Ireland's culture, tradition, mythologies in the plays, in the dramas, and he also founded the theatre, the Abbey Theatre, along with Lady Gregory. This theatre is also known as the National Theatre of Ireland, and the play The Countess Kathleen by W.B. Yeats was the first one to be performed at this theatre around 1899-1900. Okay, so this dramatic movement was active in 1900-1901, the beginning of 20th century. Another important point is that just like we have Charles Dickens, whose works brought the prison reforms in England, then we have Thomas Paine's the pamphlet Common Sense, which became the advocate of American independence of 1776. And then another work that is by Harriet Beecher Stowe, that is Uncle Tom's Cabin. This work led to the abolition of slavery in America. This work also led to the American Civil War of 1861 that ended in 1865 after the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. The same way we have Irish dramatic movement, which became the voice of Ireland, which led to the sense of pride, sense of feeling of nationalism in Ireland. So you see the power of writers. Charles Dickens brought the prison reform, Harriet Beecher Stowe brought abolition of slavery, and then we have Thomas Paine's Common Sense, which became the voice of American independence. And you see the words of Malala Yousafzai is still relatable when she said, "One child, one teacher, one pen, and one book can change the world." So we have a lot of examples in English literature where we see the world is changing, inspired by one single book. Alright, so coming back to the topic, W.B. Yeats was a sort of poet. We also know that he also won the Nobel Prize in 1923. But again, he was a poet. Moreover, all his works, all his dramas written by W.B. Yeats were much more than the poetic dramas, rather than having the concrete structure, rather than having the perfection of dramatists. Again, among all these 5 to 6 writers associated with Irish dramatic movement, we have James Synge, who who is sort of the best, who is sort of the perfect dramatist among all these writers from this group. His works, Riders to the Sea and Playboy of the Western World, these two are the well-known plays. In fact, Playboy of the Western World is also a part of curriculum of IGNOU, Indira Gandhi National Open University, and I have personally read this play. Again, this play was already been asked in the previous year question, so try to at least go through the summary. If you go through in detail from this play, then it is much better, but again try to go at least through the summary of this particular work. And then we have Synge, who published The Shadow of a Gunman, Juno and the Peacock, and The Pluff and the Stars. You don't have to go through any of the plays in detail, just I have mentioned, except the Playboy of the Western World, and you can also go through Juno and the Peacock by Synge, and again try to remember all the associated members from this group. For your convenience, let's get back to the list of these dramatists, beginning with Synge, then James Synge, Edward Martin, William Boyle, Lady Gregory, G.W. Russell, Lionel Johnson, and at last the head of them, that is W.B. Yeats. So try to go through W.B. Yeats, Juno and the Peacock, and then we can say Playboy of the Western World. At last, try to remember all the dramatists associated with this movement. So this is what all I have to share in this video. I hope you found the video worth your time. If you're new to this channel, then don't forget to subscribe the channel for more updates on English literature. That's it for this video. Thanks.